Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. One of the things that stood out to me as I did the reading for today is how many times the Lord references the word on the street, the things that the people are saying in Jerusalem. In chapter 11 and verse 3, he references them saying, "The time is not near to build houses, the city is the pot, and we are the flesh." And then further down in verse 15, he quotes them as saying, "Go far from the Lord. This land has been given us as a possession." And then in chapter 12, in verse 8, in verse 9, when Ezekiel is going to be basically acting out going into exile, he says that he tells them to say to the ones who are saying to him, "What are you doing?" And then later on, another quote in verse 22 of chapter 12, where it says, "The days are long and every vision fails." And then in chapter 12 and verse 27, he quotes them as saying, "The vision that he sees is for many years from now, and he prophesies of times far off." And then in chapter 13, he talks about the prophets, the false prophets there, and he quotes them as saying, "Listen to the word of the Lord," and they were falsely proclaiming things as though it had come from the Lord, when really it had just come from themselves. So time and time again, throughout our reading in the Old Testament, we find that the Lord knows what's going on. He knows what people are saying on the streets, around the water cooler at work, what's being said among the common people, these proverbs, these cliches, these statements that are being said. And what this shows us is that the Lord does know what people are saying. And I know that kind of seems like something obvious, but I wonder if sometimes we forget that. It might be that sometimes we wonder if the Lord really hears what's going on. We hear a lot of things in our society today. There's a lot of cliches. There's a lot of memes out there with different things. A lot of it could be considered blasphemous. And people say things that shock us and might even offend us a lot of times. And we wonder, why doesn't the Lord do something? Surely if the Lord was hearing what these people were saying, the Lord would do something about it. And it might seem on the surface like they're getting away with it. Or maybe we ourselves might become very loose with our words and might say things that are not really thought through very well. Maybe they're things that aren't exactly proper and good at the present moment. They're not timely as they ought to be, and we can kind of even get a little lax in the words that we say. But what we could learn from this set of chapters in the Old Testament is that the Lord does hear and the Lord does care what people are saying. And he does care about the conversations that go on. He does care about the attitude that is being projected in these various phrases that are being spoken. And he will act accordingly to those things. Remember, the Lord himself, Jesus, said that every idle word would be brought under judgment. And that was in the context of people saying that he was casting out demons by the power of Beelzebub. He said, look, be very careful what you're saying. You're basically blaspheming against the Holy Spirit, because you're saying the work that the Holy Spirit is doing is actually from the devil. But as we get into our New Testament reading, we get a very practical teaching in connection to this. In James chapter 1 and verse 19, James says, "This you know, my beloved brethren, but everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger." And I think that's good advice in light of what we're reading in the Old Testament and Ezekiel. We should be slow to speak. Be very careful what we say. Think before we speak. We hear that a lot. We probably were told that as children quite a bit. But it's something that we really should put to practice. We should think about what we are about to say or what we're about to post and think it through. Is this what I'm about to say, is that really honor God? Is it really going to benefit the other person that I'm speaking to, or the group of people that I'm speaking to? Just kind of think it all through before we actually open our mouths or begin to tap with our fingers what we're going to write. We just have to be very, very careful. And so today's reading ought to be a word of caution for us. One, to not only be a word of caution, but to help us to understand that, yes, God does know what's going on. He does know what people are putting on Facebook. He knows what things are being said in various places around our country. But that also includes us as well. And that we should be very careful in what we say, be very careful in what we speak. And all of our words should be full of grace, seasoned with salt, properly prepared, and to be for the benefit of other people and to the glory of God. And hopefully we can focus on that today as we do our reading. So with that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. I hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.